you say that you got this idea at 54.
Uh-huh.
Did something happen
Yeah.
in your life?
Yeah, so here's what happened. So it was my son's high school prom. Never thought I would tell you that a high school prom changed my life.
Yeah.
I had gone through 2 of them with our daughters, complete fucking nightmare.
Okay.
You know, the tans, the this, the that, the other thing. Oh my God. Like, you know, the claiming of the dresses in the Facebook group before it, like, it was just like, what the fuck is going on? Yes, this is a thing.
Oh, I didn't have that. That's
And
impressive.
so it was like a 5-month panic attack leading up to this thing. So by the time our son rolls around, I figure we got this. I've been through 4 of these things. This is going to be easy. It was worse.
What?
Because, well, he was a guy. He was like so nonchalant. I'm not sure if I'm going. I don't know.
Yeah.
2 days before, all of a sudden, he's like, I'm going. So now I have to get a tux. I got to find the sneakers he wants. It's like this mad dash race, you know, a date that he doesn't know. And so I'm in overdrive, like most moms, completely irritating, controlling, and micromanaging. And we get to the night of the prom. We get into the car and we go to the pre-prom where everybody takes photos. And our daughter Kendall, who went to USC, was home for a break. And so she was with us. And so we go to this person's house and we take the photos. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it starts to rain. And by rain, I'm talking like downpour. And nobody is ready for this. Not to mention, because I have not been read in on the details, I am now kind of learning in bits and pieces how the evening's going to go. And it's very different because we had moved from how our daughters was going to go. So I'm like, wait a minute, there's no bus? You're driving? What do you mean you're going to borrow Dad's truck? You're driving to the prom? What? Where are you guys going to dinner? You don't have reservations for dinner? What do you, now it's raining? So now I'm like getting all amped up. And as you're listening, and I see you nodding, you're probably thinking about moments where, you know, your parents or somebody just like had their grips on you. And so all the parents now are getting worked up because of the rain and no umbrellas and nowhere to eat. And now they're all driving. And I start yelling, I can't find a reservation. And my daughter grabs my arm and is like, Mom, you're being annoying. And I'm like, but they don't have a reservation. And Oakley's like, oh, no, we're just going to the taco stand. I'm like, taco stand? You can't go to the taco stand in the pouring rain and dress like you're going to ruin your... Mom, and she like grabs my arm. She's like, let them. If they want to go to a taco stand, let them. But her hair, if he ruins his shoes, let them. But Mom, if they want to go to a taco stand and get soaking wet and dance in wet tuxedos all night, let them. It's their prom, not yours. Let them.
Wow.
And there was something about just the contrast of my ridiculousness and her like grip on my arm and the let them, that it just had this weird effect. Like it was like, and I thought, why do I care about this?
Wow.
Like why am I not worried about where I'm eating? Like, why am I allowing this to get me worked up? Why am I creating stress for everybody? This is stupid. And I've personally never been the kind of person that could let anything go because I feel like it's admitting defeat.
Yeah.
You know, when you say, oh, I got to let it go, it means you can't do anything about it. I hate it.
Yeah.
And so there was something in me when she said that final let them that I felt this instant release. And so I walked up to Oak and I said, hey, Oak. And he's like, what? You know, because I've been really annoying. So I'm like, here's $40. Go have fun. And he looked at me like, whoa, okay, thanks, Mom.
Who is this woman? What have you done with my mom?
Yeah. And he and his date ran out the door. And as they were running down to my husband's truck, it splashed mud up all over her dress and his shoes got ruined. And it's kind of cute. And that was that. But then the next morning, I'm standing at you go to like a big box store and you're at the garden center.
Yep.
And there's like 5 people in front of me. And I'm standing there with my cart of stuff. And the person that is doing the checkout, it's like beep, 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 small talk, chat. Beep, beep, beep. Oh, I forgot this. The woman runs around. And we've all been there. Yeah. You're standing at the grocery store. You're 5 people deep. There's 7 empty registers and no one's coming to like fill it, right? And you start to feel the stress rise. And what you're going to notice when you start using the let them theory and you start saying let them in your life is other people are really irritating. And most of your stress comes from other people. And you're allowing things that are outside of your control and that are beneath you in terms of what's worth time and energy to actually impact you. And so as I'm standing there and you feel the stress going like, why are they opening their cash registers? And how long is this going to take? And can they just shut up and like start screaming? And you know how when you get frustrated in line, you like almost want to turn to the person behind you and roll your eye and like, can you believe, we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
But I just said to myself, let them. Let them. If they're not going to staff the let them. Because I don't have to stand here. I could leave.
Yeah.
And how is stressing about this right now and allowing this to drain my time and energy? Because I could stand in this line and I could call somebody and like check in. I could stand in the line and just practice being present. I could stand in the line and text somebody that I'm thinking about. There's a lot that I can do. But instead, I'm focusing on the one thing that I can't control, which is that this garden center isn't staffed properly. And somehow I think I know how to run it better than the manager. And I'm draining my energy, which then, by the way, starts to impact the rest of my day.
Yeah.
And so I just started to notice that next day, my God, traffic, let them do construction on a Monday morning. How stupid. Well, okay, we'll let them. Or if my husband left something inside the entryway and it was right, let him. And I noticed, my God, like there are so many moments during the day where someone else's behavior is actually bothering me. And I'll give you another example that came up. This is something we can all relate to. If you pull open your favorite social media account and you go to create a new post, you're going to notice something once you learn the let them theory. You're going to notice that as you start to select a reel or a photo and you start to examine it and you're like, oh, should I put on a filter? Should I do that? Oh, no, is it this one? Is it that? And then you write the caption. You're like, is this too much? Is this too little? Should I put in emojis? Like, should I link to this? Should I do that? What's happening in that moment is you're giving your power to other people's opinions.
Yeah.
And you're managing the photo that you put up and the caption that you write because you're trying to control what somebody's going to think in response to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you're missing a critical thing. Your social media is for you. I'm going to say it again. Your social media is for you. It is your self-expression.
Yeah.
And yet, just that simple act of posting something is a moment where everybody gives power away because you are now focused and putting more priority on what other people are going to think about this rather than just say, let them think a negative thought. Let them unfollow you. Let them have an opinion. Let them object. Let them comment. Let them do whatever they're going to do because you can't control it.
Yeah.
And then you come back to the second part, which is let me remind myself this is my social media. This is for me. Let me remind myself that if I post something that aligns with who I am and that I think is cool, then that's how you win in life. It's by taking your power back and focusing on what actually works for you. And too often in life, what I started to notice, the more that I said let them, whether it was friends that went out without me and I see them out for brunch, and of course it hurts. You're like, oh God, I wanted to be there.
Yeah.
But we then sit with that instead of going, let them. They're allowed to go out without you. Not everything's personal. Let them live their lives. And then pull it back and go, well, if I'm upset about this, let me figure out what I want to do about it. You know, other people are not responsible for your social life.
Yeah.
And adult friendship isn't transactional and it's not a group sport. So if you're not happy because you're not being included, what are you going to do about it? Don't send the passive aggressive text. How about planning a lunch? How about being more proactive?
Yeah.
How about letting people reveal who they are so you can choose how much time and energy you're going to pour into the relationship? And what started to happen for me is I was just simply saying, let them, is I was startled by how often other people's behavior was impacting me or how often I was acting in a way or navigating my life or business because I was trying to navigate somebody else's emotions or manage or manipulate somebody's opinion.
Yeah.
And so I went to social media, and because whenever I kind of stumble onto something, I always share it. And I just put up this 60-second reel that literally was like, so a couple days ago, this thing, and I was referring to Kendall grabbing my arm. And I said, if your friends aren't inviting you to brunch, let them. If the person that you want to date doesn't want a commitment, let them. If your kids don't want to get up this weekend and go to the flea market, let them. You're spending too much of your time and energy managing other people. There's an easier way to go through life. Let other people reveal who they are, because people's behavior tells you the truth.
Yeah.
Forget about what people say.
Yeah.
Watch what they do.
Yeah.
And that tells you what is important to them and where you stand in order of importance. And then you get to choose how you respond.
Yeah.
15 million views in 24 hours. And within a week, Let Them tattoos started rolling in. Next thing you know, USA Today, The Guardian, all these outlets are writing articles quoting therapists talking about how this is an extraordinary tool. And I'm like, whoa. I barely even researched this thing yet.
Yeah.
And so I did a podcast episode about it. And we published that in like October a year ago.
Okay.
And within 2.5 months, Apple named it the 6th most shared episode of any podcast on the planet of the entire year.
It was just you talking about this idea.
Based on the research I had started doing and based on all of the accounts of people